Once upon a time, in a tiny village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling ocean, lived a kind fisherman named Jasper. Jasper had a smile as warm as summer sunshine and eyes the color of the sea after a calm rain. Every morning, he'd whistle a merry tune as he sailed out in his little boat, salty sprinkles, hoping to catch a fish for dinner. Jasper's wife, Margaret, was a woman like spun sunshine and a laugh like the tinkling of seashells. She'd wait for him on the shore, a basket in hand and a heart full of love. Their little cottage, named Seashell Haven, was a sight to behold. Painted the color of seashells and adorned with fishing nets and colorful pebbles. It was small but filled with warmth and the comforting smell of the sea breeze. One particularly beautiful morning, the ocean shimmered like a giant blue jewel. Jasper cast his net with a practiced hand, humming a tune about a friendly dolphin. Suddenly, the line went taut, pulling him with unexpected force. "Whoa!" he exclaimed, surprised but not scared. He reeled it in slowly, his heart thumping with excitement. Instead of a fish, a magnificent jellyfish emerged from the waves. It shimmered with a luminous glow and pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm. It spoke in a voice that sounded like gentle waves lapping the shore. "Good fisherman, please release me. I'm not like other jellyfish. I'm actually a mermaid princess under a grumpy sea witch's spell. If you set me free, I'll grant you one wish, anything your heart desires." Jasper stared at the talking jellyfish, his jaw dropping open. A mermaid princess? A grumpy sea witch? It sounded just like the bedtime stories Margaret told him about mischievous mermaids and grumpy sea creatures. He looked at the jellyfish, its luminous glow illuminating the water around it. A wish, anything he desired? A bigger boat, a mountain of candy that never ran out? But then, he glanced back at his cozy cottage with smoke curling merrily from the chimney. He imagined Margaret waving excitedly from the shore. They had everything they truly needed: love, health, and the salty embrace of the sea. "Thank you, kind fish," he said with a gentle smile. "Your freedom is enough reward. You seem kind, and you haven't done anything wrong." The jellyfish pulsed with surprise. No one had ever refused a wish before. With a graceful undulation, it disappeared back into the sparkling depths. Margaret, who had just arrived on the shore with a picnic basket, was relieved to see a regular fish in the boat. "It wasn't a monster, was it?" she asked, her voice full of concern. Jasper chuckled and helped her haul in the fish. It was a beauty, the biggest they'd ever caught. Back at Seashell Haven, they feasted on a delicious fish supper as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues. The next morning, however, something strange happened. As Margaret looked out at the calm ocean, a frown appeared on her face. "This view is lovely, but wouldn't it be nicer to have a bigger window so we could see even more of the sea?" she mused. Jasper, surprised by her change of heart, reminded her of how much they enjoyed watching the sunrise from their cozy window seat. But a tiny seed of doubt had been planted in Margaret's mind. The next day, she wouldn't let Jasper go fishing. "Go back to the jellyfish," she insisted, her voice firm. "Tell it we want a bigger window with a balcony so we can enjoy the ocean breeze on our faces." Jasper, with a heavy heart, trudged to the familiar spot on the shore. He called out to the jellyfish, who appeared with a flicker of recognition. The jellyfish listened patiently as Jasper relayed his wife's wish. In a blink, their cozy cottage vanished, replaced by a slightly larger house, with a beautiful picture window and a small balcony overlooking the sea. Margaret was overjoyed. She spent her days on the balcony, watching the waves and feeling the cool sea air brush against her face. But with each passing day, she grew restless. The bigger window let more light in, but it also showed them the grand houses of the village merchants. She started comparing their simple home to theirs, feeling a pang of dissatisfaction. One day, Margaret sent Jasper back to the jellyfish, demanding a house with a tower so she could see the entire village from above. With each wish, the jellyfish's surprise turned to disappointment. The sea grew rougher, the waves crashed in angrily, and the sky seemed to frown with heavy clouds. Finally, Margaret, blinded by her desire for a grander life, demanded a house made of shimmering pearl, fit for a queen. Jasper, horrified by his wife's arrogance, raced to the shore. A terrifying sight greeted him. Their house had vanished, replaced by their old, rickety cottage. The once calm sea roared like a hungry beast, threatening to swallow the land. With a trembling voice, Jasper called out to the jellyfish. This time, the jellyfish emerged with a sad sigh. "Your wife's greed has upset the balance of the sea," the jellyfish rumbled. "But because of your initial kindness, I offer one last chance. Wish carefully, fisherman, for it will decide your fate." Jasper looked out at the angry ocean and then back at their small cottage, feeling a pang of relief wash over him. He remembered their laughter echoing through the rooms. The cozy nights curled up by the fireplace with a steaming mug of hot cocoa and the smell of Margaret's fresh-baked bread. He closed his eyes and wished with all his heart, "Take us back to the way we were, by the sea, with nothing but our love and gratitude for your kindness." The moment the words left his lips, the storm subsided. The sea calmed, turning a gentle turquoise once again. Their little cottage reappeared, nestled by the shore, just as it had been before. Margaret, pale and scared, emerged from the doorway. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at Jasper. "I was wrong," she whispered, her voice trembling. "We had everything we needed, and I threw it all away with my greed." Jasper pulled her into a warm hug. "It's all right," he said gently. "The important thing is that we learned our lesson together." From that day on, Margaret never forgot the importance of contentment. They continued their simple life by the sea, cherishing each other and the little things that brought them joy. Margaret even started helping Jasper mend his nets, and in the evenings, they'd sit by the crackling fireplace, sharing stories about the talking jellyfish and the importance of being grateful for what you have. Sometimes on calm nights, when the moon shimmered on the water and the waves whispered secrets to the shore, they swore they could see a faint, bioluminescent glow dancing beneath the surface. A reminder of the magical jellyfish and the lesson it had taught them. The lesson that true happiness doesn't come from grand wishes, but from love, appreciation, and a life shared by the sparkling sea. One day, as Jasper was mending his nets, a little girl with bright, curious eyes skipped towards him. "Mr. Fisherman," she chirped, "is it true you once talked to a glowing jellyfish?" Jasper chuckled, his eyes twinkling like the morning sun on the waves. There might have been a talking jellyfish and a grumpy sea witch and a whole lot of wishes, he winked. But the most magical thing of all was learning to appreciate what we already had. The little girl giggled, her eyes wide with wonder. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in vibrant hues, Jasper continued mending his nets, a warm smile on his face. He knew, deep down, that the greatest treasures weren't found in wishes, but in the love and joy he shared with Margaret by their cozy cottage by the sea.